Okay, guys, I don't know if you remember this, but the last time she was on my channel, she said something very wise. Let's reenact it. Belem, aren't you gonna quarantine?
I forgot what I said.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go.
Okay, but you're supposed to be quarantined.
No, I'm not doing that. I don't believe on that.
What?
And I said I was gonna go for a appointment, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me tell you about that story. I'm a mom now. I love my baby so much. She looks like me, so just picture her and then picture me. No, picture me.
Picture a tiny version of her, even smaller.
Well, yeah.
Bro, I want to show people how short you are.
She's like the size of what you think the height of Among Us would be.
Let me see, get up.
Look at her.
Why do you want to show how short I am? Hey, but I'm still a mom. Okay. All right.
Short people can have kids, alright?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're gonna do scary stories number 14. Woo!
Why do you sound so sad? No.
I know.
What am I supposed to be?
Oh, no.
Sorry for interrupting the video. I don't know about you guys, but I'll be scrolling through TikTok and I'll stop on tarot readings or psychics just saying if you see this video, this is for you. I'll listen to the TikToks the whole way through, but the whole time they're talking about your boyfriend's gonna break up with you, and the whole time I don't even like boys. Anyway, that brings us to today's sponsor. Our sponsor for this video is Keen. Keen is the world's largest network of psychic advisors, providing psychic readings and guidance to help you find answers to your most pressing questions about love, relationships, career related. You want to know about your ex? They got you. They've got a deal going on right now for people who sign up. For $2, you get 10 minutes with one of their vetted psychics. So if you've ever wondered, how can I help out such a beautiful, wonderful, hot, smart, intelligent creator like Monica?
Wait a damn minute.
Directly, it would be through a sponsorship like this. So thank you, Keen, for the sponsorship. Link will be in the description and in the comments.
I'm trying to get a BBL, but my baby daddy said no.
Bro, tell him that you deserve one. You had his baby.
I know, but he said that's too much money. I'm like, okay, what do you expect?
Be like, you could pay in payments.
So anyone want to donate money?
Yeah, Belem BBL.
Yeah. How about if I tell my ghost story? This is really real. Look, I have 2 ghost stories. So you guys know how we live in a mobile home, right? You know how I have 2 doors, one in the front, one in the back, right?
Yeah.
Last time, like, it was last weekend. Okay, we come from my grandma's house. Like, my grandma lives like 45 minutes away, an hour. So we come and stuff, and then Samantha was already asleep, and my dad put her to sleep in her little spot. And then I remember everybody was getting ready for bed, right? And then me too, but then I went back to go get a cold water from the fridge, and I literally went back. And then my brother was asleep too in the couch and stuff, and he slept on the couch. And then everybody was already asleep. I was already like 12:30. And then like at 1, I heard like some screaming. You know how the cats play and they scream and stuff? So I was like, oh, it's just the cats. And then like later on, I heard someone like in the back, because my room is all the way in the end, and then it's a door, and then it's the other, my mom and my dad's room. I heard literally someone, like, you know when they're trying to put a key, like a key, like to open it, like, and then like they went like that, like they were trying to put the key, they're trying to pull it. And I remember I went and I pulled the doorknob too, and they were pulling it too. So then I literally woke up my dad and my mom, and I said, mira pa, quieren abrir la puerta. Y dijo, ¿estás segura? Le dije, sí, no estoy echando mentiras. And then my brother was like, what happened? He woke up like all naked with his boxers, right? And he goes like, oh my God, I'm gonna go and fight that. That's what he said. And then my dad was like, a ver, vamos, Ivan, ponte la camisa. And then my dad put his sweats and then his shirt, and then they went in sandals. And my dad literally said that when they went and stuff, he literally went in the back and stuff, and instead that there was nobody there. And then my dad was like, okay, whatever, he left it like that. So like at 3 a.m. my dad said that he woke up to go to the restroom, and that he heard they were doing the same thing again. But everybody was already asleep, so my dad heard. So my dad like literally just like stand next to the door, and then like he said que ya no se escuchó nada. So my dad just got over it and stuff. So you see, there's like crazy stuff happening and stuff. Even, I don't know if you know that story about the laundry stuff. My mom was washing last time, and my mom was washing, mi mamá todavía no prendía las lavadoras, right? She hadn't even turned on the washers or nothing. And my mom tells me that the washer turns on by itself. And my mom was like, oh my God, but I haven't even put no coins.
Hey.
And then my brother was like, are you sure? Because my brother was with her. My brother was like, what the Like, are you sure? And my mom was like, yeah. They went to the house and got the coins because they didn't have the coins, right? And tell me why my mom said that someone put her clothes inside the washer.
Stop it.
Yes,
What?
even asked my mom. And the clothes was in the bucket, in the little canasta. Yeah, she hasn't even put the clothes. You know how you have to put the coins and then the agua level. Yeah. And my mom tells me that someone put her clothes inside the freaking washer.
What time was it?
To come over here.
Like and she even asked my brother and me, and we went. But I never went over there because I was taking care of Samantha. And then my mom's like, oh, but están pasando cosas bien malas aquí because candle, like last time at my house. You know when they say that the candle gets black or something, it's bad vibes. So tell me that freaking candle was really nice and pretty and pink. We bought it like literally at Ross like a month ago. And then like the next day, the freaking candle was all freaking nasty, all black, and it was dripping like the thing all black. And my mom threw that freaking candle away because my mom thinks that someone is giving us bad energy or something in our house. That's why things are happening. You know what my dad thinks? That this thing that was not a mobile home back then. So my dad thinks that this only had like just land, like just dirt and stuff. And they start putting the mobile homes and stuff. But my dad said that. My dad was like, so if they start putting mobile homes, I think something happened around here. Like some people died or something, or bad spirits are around here.
There's been 2 people already that said that this was a cemetery.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So there's dead people living under us?
What the hell did you just say? They're buried and they're not
Oh,
alive.
I'm
Oh my god, dude. I don't know, but I believe that there's people here. Like my Nina, I don't know about the story, but she saw a black dog. Literally just pure black with red eyes. In front of her freaking gate. Not her gate, but her door. And I was like 12 because she wouldn't go through the trash. Because she has a dog and she wouldn't go through the trash because I think he pooped. And then dijo my Nina, oh, like había ahí un perro negro, Belén, con cuidado. But I never saw the black dog.
When was this?
Like literally like a week ago and stuff.
Wait, didn't your dad say like a long time ago he saw some dog
Yes,
in his
black
closet
dog.
or something?
Yes, in his closet, a black dog. A black dog with red eyes.
I'm scared. I got chills.
And Marina told me to take care of Samantha because there was a black dog with red eyes, but I never seen that black dog with red eyes. Only my mom and my dad saw it one time in the closet.
How long ago was that? Like when you were young? Like
Yeah,
a
that
baby?
was when I was
barely
like
born?
no, that was when I was 6.
Oh, estoy bien pendeja. Good thing I did.
You didn't record.
Yeah, I did record, but no,
Look
it's
at-
fine.
You're dumb if you didn't press record.
Hi, Monica, Nelly, or whoever is with Monica. How'd they know somebody else was here?
The ghost.
Alright, so Nelly, this first story comes to us from India. Can you point out where India is on the map?
In Asia.
You have 10 seconds. Both of you, work together.
I don't know. I don't go to school no more. Right here.
What do you mean? It would be harder if it was blank.
Go to my bag and then in my wallet all the way. You already know where. Just get it. Bring me a big one. This is how I like it, Daddy. No, that will be it. Bye.
What is he bringing you?
A big gallon of milk for my baby girl. Okay, go.
I'm Advik, and I'm from India. This is my scary story, and I believe this story to be authentic because this happened to my own mother. So my parents have 2 children, me and my elder brother. This story trails back long ago to about 20 years, when my parents were a couple of newlyweds. So in our Indian culture, whenever a couple is married, the bride has to stay at her husband's home with her in-laws for some time. My father was from a small countryside village, surrounded by farms and open fields in an Indian state. It had been a little over a year since my mother was living with her in-laws there. So a few months later, my mother found out that she was pregnant, and soon she had my older brother. Since the place wasn't as developed in those years, people used to sleep in open fields during summertime because of the cool breeze that used to flow during night. So when my brother was about a year old, he and my mother used to sleep on one bed, my grandpa on the second one, and my grandma on the third. And mind you that all of these beds were out on the field. So one late night, my mother woke up to the sound of faint crying of a woman that was coming from one corner of the open field. There was a house of a known person near, so my mother thought that there might be someone fighting and someone might be going through a bad phase. But the next day, my mother heard the same crying, but it was a little louder, and it seemed to be a little closer. This continued for a few nights, and it grew so scary that my mother would hear the cries starting from stopping at a nearby tree, and every night it stopped at the same spot. She grew so disturbed that one day she told my grandma about the unstoppable crying, and my grandma was immediately startled but did not show it in order to not frighten my mom. Later, she heard her talking to some other lady saying she hears it too. Apparently, one of our family friends who lived quite nearby recently experienced a tragedy tragedy. Their daughter-in-law, leaving everything behind, even her 2 children, committed suicide by jumping into a very nearby river, and she would cry during nights, regretting her decisions and leaving her children behind. The creepiest part is that only 2 people, my mother and another newlywed mother, heard the cries because the spirit of the lady would cry looking at them with their dear babies. The family whose daughter-in-law died were not much of believers in God, but after getting to know about the incidents and after much persuasion, the family held rituals for the spirit to lay at rest, and the crying of the woman was never heard again. It does sound like the Llorona. Do you have any Llorona stories?
No, I don't. I don't
Just
know
yourself? Because you're Cancer?
Well, I cry every day, but that doesn't mean nothing.
Wait, so before they try to open the door, you heard screaming?
I just heard cats. No, I just heard cats fighting. I thought they were.
Oh,
I thought that was like, you know, like you know how cats sometimes fight and like they like I don't know what the hell they do.
What noise do they make?
How the hell am I gonna do that, Noe?
Do it.
I don't know. So they were just like, I was gonna say barking. Like literally, like no one. I didn't even hear no one like walking or nothing. Literally.
Alrighty, next story. You want to read this one?
I know. That's too long. I know. Tell Nelly. Nelly, you read better than me. That's a long ass story.
Hello, I'm Mason and I'm Hispanic. I already said a story, but I remember reading back at it and remembering how fake it sounds because I was so bad at explaining stuff. Also, my mom was 4 to 6 years old at the time this was happening.
You think I'm funny looking or something?
I was born in Guatemala in a poor little town where everyone knew everybody, and because of how poor...
Also, my mom was 4 to 6 years old at the time this happened. I was born in Guatemala in a poor little town where everyone knew everybody. And because of how poor it is, a lot of people died back then from the lack of food and water. I lived in a small house at the time with me, my parents, sister, and brothers. Growing up, I didn't have much friends because I'd rather stay in the backyard and play with my toys or help my mom with dinner, rather than go outside with the other children. I wasn't social as a kid, so no surprise why I didn't have much friends. Until one day, I was playing in the backyard with some old, ugly doll. I suddenly heard a noise from my shed where my papa would keep all his tools or something. I don't know why, but I decided to go to the shed and see what was inside. When I had looked, it was a girl, maybe the same age as me, with black, thick hair, pale skin, and a red dress. After that, we became best friends because I remember playing with her a lot. Until one day, my dad came back from work early and he wanted to see me since my other siblings were still at school. I remember him coming up to me and saying, "¿Con quién estás jugando?" As he looked around confused, I pointed right next to me and said, "Ella está aquí, ¿no la ves? Está usando un vestido rojo."
He looked at me and what? Joke? Is this joke?
Where was it?
Is this joke or choke?
I was gonna laugh, but what the He looked at me in shock.
He looked at me in shock because he told me he remembered a story his mom told him about his great-great aunt who always wore a red dress and died at a young age. Oh, sorry. Because he told me he remembered a story his mom told him about his great-great-aunt who always wore a red dress and died at a young age from being ill and not eating. They kept her in the shed. He told me to go back inside and that I could never go to the backyard until I was older. I was so confused and started to cry because I knew that meant I would never see the girl again. Fast forward a couple years, I was now 15 and I was blessed with a little sister. One night, I was taking care of my little sister and it was getting dark, so I went to the backyard to tell her to come back inside until I noticed that it looked like she was playing with someone. I called out her name and then asked her the same thing my dad asked me. She said the exact same thing I said. I was terrified because I started to remember all the memories I had with the little girl. I told her to go back inside and then when my parents got home, told them what had happened. So we called the priest to hopefully set her soul free from all the bad things that had happened to her. After that, no one saw the little girl again.
Oh my god, that was a fantasma.
They said, "Sorry if this sounds fake. I'm bad at typing and explaining stuff. So if
my
you put two and two together, it doesn't make sense. I'm also sorry for the typos. Anyways, keep doing what you're doing. It's entertaining, funny. Seeing Nelly say dumb stuff." Belem, get your ass
Oh, sorry.
Alright, next story. This is called my S-Walker story. Do you know what an S-Walker is?
No.
Skinwalker.
Mama!
Nahual. You know what a Nahual is? They're brujas or brujos who turn into different animals.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
There's such thing?
Yeah.
Where at though?
I don't know. I think there might be one here in the neighborhood.
Stop.
Because imagine, think about it. If there's something like, if you heard screaming, what if it was like a Nahual?
Oh my god, that's scary. No.
Skinwalker.
Mama!
Nawan.
So like, you know, it's obviously today is my birthday. We were like at my party, and then like the ladies, the neighbors, the neighbor, the lady in the corner, she was like, "Ay, una bruja." Hoy es domingo before I start talking about this, but she's like, "Ay, una bruja," and then everybody turned and then they saw like a weird animal, like an owl or something. I don't know what, but they couldn't really see it, and then they saw like a lightning, and everybody got scared.
She saw like a light?
No, like a weird like thing that it went flying the way that you're by your house, like this, through my house all the way this way. So I was like, what the f? But I was not paying attention. I was like in my own little world, and then like the lady screamed. She's like, una bruja, and they pointed. And then after they were just like surprised, and then like the neighbors are like, que se va la like la maldición, you know?
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I was just paranoid because, you know, it's on my birthday, and then that's just weird, you know? It's just some weird shit. Babe, you scared me.
Remember, you're safe, you're protected.
Yeah, and God is
nothing
more
can
powerful
touch
than
you.
anything that is doing me dirty or whatever is going on in this world, or whoever wants to throw me evil, like, that's out.
Yep.
But yeah, but it's my birthday today, and I was shaking that ass all night.
You left it back there or what?
I've been going to the gym, and guess what?
What? What?
My ass, it's bigger.
Hi Monica and Nelly and Belem. First I wanted to say that I binged all of your channel on TikTok and now I'm a huge fan. I live in West Covina, so let's go ghost hunting. No. So I'm excited to share my story. I believe I'm just kidding. Everybody go point to the Philippines on the map.
I'm just putting. Dude, I can't even see it with my blind ass. La Paz. Look, it's La Paz right here. Sorry.
I think somewhere right here.
I can't find it.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea where it is.
I don't think it's in here.
I don't think it's
Oh yeah, you got the wrong one, girl.
Should I have gotten one for Mars or something? Or Pluto?
Is Philippines a state?
Guys, the Philippines is right here. You guys didn't
Because you
know
looked
that?
it up like 10 seconds ago.
And we are right here.
About
You guys ever
hours?
think about like traveling? Like, are you gonna travel this way or this way to get to the Philippines? Crazy to think about.
No.
Just kidding. The Earth is flat. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
I thought it was a circle. Oh yeah. Hold on, Samantha. I'm with Nelly and Monica.
Hi, Samantha. She
What?
looks so funny. Show her.
She said Belem. What, mama? Mande, mama. Say bye to Monica.
Bye.
All right, I'll go. Bye.
Hi Monica. First I want to say that I binged all of your channel on TikTok and now I'm a huge fan. So I'm excited to share my story. I believe in the paranormal and supernatural for as long as I can remember, so I have dozens of stories and many videos and photos of evidence if you are interested. I'm going to tell you the story of the time I saw an aswang. It is essentially the Filipino version of an S-walker. My mother and her family are from the Philippines in a small farming province north of Manila. It is a small village mostly of bamboo huts and shacks, but my family happens to be wealthier, so they all live in large modern homes. It looks ridiculous and it is slightly embarrassing, but anyway. My cousin and I were the first to be born in America after a handful of our family members came to America in the late 80s. As children, we spent a lot of time around this family who would always tell us of the legends and ghost stories from back in the Philippines. Not to mention, this family home was extremely haunted, which is what got my cousin and me into the paranormal at such a young age. I recall one of the first and most frequently told stories they told us was about the aswang. The aswang is a bit of an interesting twist on an S-walker. I know many Filipinos have variations, but this is how it was described to me. It is a shape-shifting vampire, or D-word. It takes the form of a human and will pace around your house until it can find a way in. They crave the blood of newborns, so families with new babies tend to be paranoid about its arrival. When they shapeshift, they turn into these nasty, fleshy-looking things with wings and super long tongues with teeth on the end so they can grab the baby and fly away. Insane, I know. The interesting thing is that when they are in human form, the only way you can tell if they are aswang is to look into their eyes. If your reflection is upside down, they are not human.
Look me in the eyes,
Upside
Belem.
down.
So if you were to look at me and then you're upside down in my eyes, then I'm an ass.
That's scary. Oh my god.
Oh my god, this.
She's Little
Bitch. My great-great-great-grandmother lived to be hella old, like 100 something. She passed away when I was around 13. The last time I ever saw her, she was basically on her deathbed. She could not walk or eat or go to the bathroom on her own. I remember sitting on this little couch with her in silence when out of nowhere she told me this scary ass story. When she first gave birth to my great-great-grandmother, whom she outlived, she was living in a small bamboo hut with her sister. The windows were basically square cutouts with curtains over them. She was sitting in a chair breastfeeding when she saw a woman in common clothing pass by the window. She thought nothing of it until she saw her pass another window and another and realized she was circling the house. She was simply looking forward and had no emotion in her face. Her sister knew it was sus, so she told her to get in the middle of the room and protect the baby and began to pray. Suddenly the woman disappeared, but then they heard a large thud on the roof. Suddenly a fist punched through the roof and a long tongue with fangs all over came down through the hole. Her sister grabbed scissors and cut the tongue off, and they heard an ungodly screech and it seemed to fly away. From that time on, they suspected it would wait in the trees outside at night, so they always stayed in when it was dark out. She passed away shortly after the night she told me this story. Now on to my personal experience. Back in 2014, when I was 14 and my cousin was 15, we went to the Philippines for the first time to meet our family and see where we came from basically. We were there for about 5 weeks during the later summer, so it was monsoon season. My grandmother's house is a large 2-story, but there's a smaller home on the property kind of far in the back. One of my aunts and a cousin lived back there. My grandmother informed us as we were flying in that our cousin was going into labor. She was pregnant. Obviously. So this baby would probably be there upon our arrival, and to our surprise, it was. We were informed that my aunt, cousin, and the baby were going to be staying in our house for protection. And at first we were confused, but then it hit me. This house is huge, so there's a bunch of other family members living in various wings of the house, mostly on the first floor. I went and ran to my uncle Bimbo to confirm my suspicion, and he did, and he told me that it was from Aswang. I asked him if there were many sightings, and he said yes. He blames it on the fact that we live in a really isolated farmland, and or we have problems with evil spirits following our family, like it's some curse or something. He told me it should be okay and we all have each other for protection. I should also mention we have a maid named Teresa. She does not live in our house as she has her own family, so she leaves shortly after dinner and walks back home, so around 7 p.m. or so. She is extremely religious, so I've seen her pray over our home and all of us and perform rituals of protection, especially over the baby. She has worked with our family for a very long time, so we are super close to her. I basically just consider her family. About a week into the trip, we started getting hit with some really bad storms and floods. The power ended up going out for days. The first night the power was out, I felt vulnerable in the house for the first time. We all stayed in the living room with candles. They kept the baby in the center of the room. Mostly everyone was on the floor, but I was laying sideways on this armchair by a big window. The windows were covered with this sheer white curtain, so you can still pretty much see through them. It was about 10 p.m. and we were all just chatting and laughing in the candlelight, trying to comfort each other from the raging storm outside. There was tons of thunder and lightning, and it was pouring. I was sort of zoning out and watching the lightning when suddenly I saw Teresa walk by. I sat up quickly and looked at the clock. It was like 10:30 at night. I knew it was her because she always wore these flowy sweatpants in various colors. She was wearing the outfit from the day previous. She also had super long hair that she kept in a low ponytail, and I saw exactly that. Her back was towards me, so I did not see her face. I told my grandma, "Why is Teresa here? It's late and the weather's so bad. Did she forget something?" Everyone silently looked at me and told me to get away from the window. My uncles casually got up and made sure all of the doors and windows were locked, and I could see the silhouette of Teresa going past the other windows. Suddenly, my grandma forced us into the center of the room and began to pray. I kept my eyes closed for what felt like forever. After some time, everyone went to bed. Mine and my cousin's room was upstairs. For that entire night, we heard heavy footsteps on the roof. We were told not to go outside at night.
Oh my hair die.
And what do you want me to do?
Okay, I just remembered that right now.
Now onto my personal experience. I went and ran to my uncle Bimbo to confirm my suspicion. And he did. That's why they're so rich, because he made it. He owns.
Stop, Molly. Be serious. She's the one that was saying Bambi. Or you were the one saying Bambi. Okay. I'm gonna stop.
My uncle Bimbo to confirm my suspicion, and he did. Are you still laughing?
Oh my gosh, through that page?
He told me it should be okay and we all have each other for protection. Stop making me laugh and I'll do it faster.
Okay, go. No, I'm trying to see what time is it. No, like, what time you sent it to? That was from 2020.
Damn. Expose her, belem. Expose her.
Bobby's going through these stories and reading them for me.
Where's she at?
In Washington. She has this.
I know she's over there. Bobby, reads them for you and sends them to you, or I don't get it.
Yeah, she'll
You
like
think she
label
comes
them.
over here and prints them out for her or something?
That girl's late.
Isn't that crazy, guys?
That is crazy.
Maybe it was her. That girl that used to work with them.
Because why did they see her?
Exactly. Why she came back?
Probably just tried to manipulate them into like seeing her as family. No,
Oh, no.
Because they see her as family.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Samantha.
Okay, we had one more
Can you-
story.
Can you?
Hi, so this story is my mom's ghost story based around when she was studying midwifery in England. One night she was placed... So this story is my mom's ghost story based around when she was studying midwifery in England. One night she was placed on a ward that was being transferred to another department. The ward consisted of an L corridor with one side of the floor already empty, whilst the other side still had pregnant women in it. It was around 12 p.m. and my mom was in one of the empty rooms finishing some of her coursework that was due in that week. That was until she was interrupted by blood-curdling screams. The screaming went on for around 5 minutes, and my mom didn't think anything of it as she assumed that it was a lady in one of the occupied beds, which already had a midwife assigned to her. After several more minutes of non-stop screaming, she popped her head out of the door only to see the light on in one of the empty rooms at the end of the corridor. This room was called a rainbow room, which was a section specifically for women who were delivering an unborn baby. My mom started to walk down to the room just to check if the midwife needed any assistance. As she approached the room, she noticed that a curtain was placed around the door to stop anybody from looking inside the small pane of glass and into the room. Just before opening the door, my mom heard a baby crying in the room, but still insisted on checking in to see if she could be of any help. You are not paying attention!
There you go.
As she opened the door and peeled back the curtain, the screaming stopped, the crying stopped, and the light in the room went off. There was nobody in the room. Horrified, my mom sprinted back to the occupied side of the corridor, and for the rest of her placement, she refused to work in that corridor again.
That was the whole story. That's why I sat here for that. Well, go Samantha. Go down.
They're in the bathroom.
Oh, come on.
So nobody gave a f*** about that story?
No, I didn't even understand it, dude. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video with Monica and Nelly. If you guys miss me, follow me on Instagram. That's all I have. Come on, Nelly. Let's go. I take pictures of my feet if you guys want to see it. Yeah. And support my BBL.
Pues en una ocasión estábamos Elba, Luisa y yo, Elvia, platicando aquí en la esquinita de la casa y oímos como un vuelo así bien pesado, como unas alas así bien pesado, como si fuera un pájaro bien pesado. O nomás oímos el ruido porque no vimos nada. Y oímos así las aleteadas bien pesadas.
Como el aire, como si
Sí,
quebró el aire. Algo así.
sí, bien pesado, como que era un pájaro muy grande. Y volteamos y no vimos nada y... Ay, Dios mío,
¿No
ahí
vieron
nos
nada?
vemos. No. Y en una ocasión mi vecina me dijo que habían ido al parque de... Dice, aunque no nos crean, dice, nosotros lo vimos, que era como un pájaro grandísimo, que era como si fuera esos pájaros dinosaurios, esos pájaros grandotes que volaban, que ya lo vieron. Dice, y aunque no nos crean, dice, nosotros lo vimos.
What?
Y no es la única vez que lo hemos oído, yo lo he oído otra vez, 2 veces.
Pero, ¿reciente?
No, ya sé, yo tengo mucho que no lo oigo.
Yeah.
Ujú. Te digo, antier, que creí que me estabas haciendo desayunar. Ya que se movían los dedos, dije, ay, qué rico, me va a hacer desayunar. Anda muy buena ahora. Que me paro y nada, estoy bien dormida y Nelly también. Y yo, ok.
Por eso me despertaste, ¿no?
Ujú.
Y dijiste, ¿estás dormida?
¿Estás dormida?
Oh my god. Entonces, ¿crees que a lo mejor ahí este es como territorio de una bruja o algo? Por eso está.
No sé
¿Por
qué
qué?
ha sido.
Porque supuestamente aquí era un cementerio, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
Y ahí van brujas muchas veces a agarrar la tierra y todo eso y hacer rituales.
Ujú. Y fíjate, se dice que no me creen, bueno, yo lo leí. Siempre que construyen un edificio, tienen que matar, no sé, un animal o una persona, las entierran ahí para que el edificio sea próspero. Y lo volví a oír en otra publicación, en internet, lo volví a leer.
Qué feo.
¿Qué eso hace?
Guts.